Okay, why does thinking harder make decision paralysis worse? One thing, because when your brain is under stress, more thinking doesn't create clarity, it increases the threat. That isn't a lack of intelligence or effort, it's how the nervous system responds to overload. By the end of this video, you'll understand why overthinking backfires and what actually helps instead. Okay, a lot of advice says that if you're stuck, you just need to analyze better, but that doesn't really work. I mean, if it did work, you wouldn't be watching this. Okay, because stress automatically puts you in defensive mode. Is it stress from your boss, stress from your partner, stress from the crowd? It doesn't matter where it's coming from. So now you're thinking about how to deal with the stress instead of making the decision. So for many people, especially deep thinkers, decision paralysis gets worse because they're trying so hard to solve it. That's not a personal, defect or issue. It's a biological response. You got to think people often carry a base load of thought in their head anyway. What you're going to do later on. You got to do this. You got to plan for the weekend. You got people coming over. You got to go over to somebody's house, get the dog to the vet. You don't want to forget this. You got a doctor's appointment coming up. You want to make sure you got, a way to get there. So you got all this in the back of your head. You don't want to forget it. So on top of that, you got to make a decision about something. And on top of that, you're being stressed about making that decision. So there's a bit of overload going on there. Okay, the first reason thinking harder doesn't make things easier to make decisions and makes things worse is that stress narrows access to flexible thinking. So it starts limiting ideas and stuff, and now you're just focusing on the stress that you're feeling in your head. I got to make a decision. It's so you're thinking about making a decision, but you're not actually thinking about making the real decision. So your brain senses pressure. It shifts into protection mode. Okay, it starts to block things out. This is like an old survival thing from your old lizard brain in the back of your head. So that mode is good for survival, but terrible for nuanced decisions. So you're not running through the jungle, running away from the tigers anymore. You're at work or some other situation where you got to make a decision. So you're not losing intelligence, you're just losing access to it. Okay? It's like your Wi-Fi dropped off between the front of your head and the back of your head. So the harder you push, the less room your brain has to work. It's that simple. Okay, the second reason, or second problem, is that overthinking multiplies possible outcomes. So if you're a deep thinker, or if you're a thoughtful person, you're going to think of all possible opportunities, chances, what happens if you do this or that. So instead of choosing between options, your brain starts simulating every possible future. It goes down every path and starts wondering, are there other paths you're missing or what's going on? It's like, what's the end result? Okay, so what if this goes wrong? What if I regret it? What if this proves something about me? It's going to make you look bad. At that point, you no longer decide. You're managing imagined consequences from a decision you haven't made. You got that? Imagine consequences from decisions you have not made. Okay, the third reason, it's a subtle one, but it's important. Thinking is not the same as deciding. Analysis can go on forever. Decisions require closure. You're making that step mentally. So when you rely on thinking alone, you never signal to the brain that it's safe to stop. So the loop keeps running over and over in your head. Here's a simple example I'm sure you've seen or experienced yourself. If you walk into a restaurant where you have to seat yourself, there's only one table available, or two tables, it's easy. You go to the table, all right? So now you walk into a restaurant, all the tables are empty. The hostess or waitress says, sit anywhere you like. So now you got 20, 30 decisions. So I don't want to sit by the window. Might be cold. How about not close to the bathroom? It's tougher to decide when you got too many choices. It's a simple operation. Sit down. It's hard to do something. Where do I want to sit? Where do you guys want to sit? If you're with other people, what do you guys want to sit? It goes on and on and on. So that's why the loop keeps running. Just pick a seat. Sit down. Make the decision. Make a decision is going beyond analysis. Okay, here's something that actually helps. Instead of asking, have I thought about this enough? Ask yourself, has the threat level gone down? Because oftentimes, the threat is imagined, okay? So start looking at that threat. What is the threat? What could go wrong? What will happen if you make that first step, that first decision, the path you want to go down? So clarity doesn't come from more analysis. It comes from lowering the pressure. So let the steam out of your head a little bit. Lower the pressure. Just resist the stress, especially the external stress from other people. So when the threat drops, decision-making comes back online naturally. It's pretty simple. Sometimes the best way to drop stress is go get a cup of coffee, get a drink of water, go look out the window, go for a short little walk. Something that just takes your mind totally off the thing, lets the steam out, and then you can get to work. Make that decision. Okay, here's a couple practical examples, hopefully to help you out. Okay, this might look like reducing the decision scope. Okay, look at it that way. Analyze the problem that you're facing, the decision you're trying to make, and look at ways to reduce the decision scope. Okay, choose a simple step, a simple first step that's reversible. So no harm, no foul. You take a step, you're on your way. How's that feel? Looks around. It's good. If you need to change it a little bit, it's reversible, you can do that. Or wait until your energy matches the decision. Sometimes you're so pumped up with adrenaline and your brain isn't working with that all that adrenaline. Just relax a little bit, okay? Sometimes relaxing will help you out. Okay, these aren't avoidance strategies, they're just regulation strategies. You're trying to match the energy level of your body, the adrenaline, with your brain activity. So reduce the stress. Look at ways you can make that happen. Simple things. That first step is often the best way. Okay, so if you've been stuck in decision paralysis, it doesn't mean you're incapable. It doesn't mean it's over your head or you can't handle it. It just means you think deeply in situations, you feel high stakes. Think of the game show, Let's Make a Deal. They give the person three, curtain number 1, curtain number 2, curtain number 3. And the biggest danger they have is, I don't know if they still have it, getting zonked. It's like some dopey prize behind the curtain that you pick. So you don't want that curtain. So your curtain, and you see the person get all nervous and jittery, and they pick a curtain. Fine. They get zonked or they don't get zonked. Did anything happen to them really? No, they just didn't get the prize they wanted, or maybe they did. So it usually means that you're thinking too deeply and that the stakes are very high. But oftentimes the stakes are not high. It's imagined, okay? You want to do things right. I get that. Everybody does. But, we've all made mistakes in life and we've moved on from them. Very few times they've caused us bodily harm, okay? So your brain is just trying to protect you, just a little too well, okay? We all have that basic instinct for survival, and that's what's coming into play here. Your brain's protecting you, a little overprotective. Your brain's a good mother, all right? Good father, too. So if this helped you out, our next video is going to explain how to tell whether you're actually ready to make a decision or if waiting is a smarter move, because sometimes it is. Things change with time, okay? So if you want more calm, structured explanations like this, you can subscribe. And also, if you know somebody that you think this video would help out, please share it with them. So just remember, you're fine. You're normal, okay? You're just overloaded time to time, and we all are. That's the way life is. All right, have a good day.